How do you do it? Do you cheat? Do you do it by the numbers? Or do you use your own colors? Do you go outside the lines or do you stay within the lines? How you do it is wonderful. How you do it helps identify, helps to support your identity. I'm going to be talking about that today, and going to be talking about seasons, the beginning and the end. When the seasons change, there's always a wonderful feeling in the air. Excuse me. And sometimes when the weather changes up and down, you get sick for a long time. So pardon my crunchiness. Anyway, when a season ends, sometimes we're sad. I wrote this song called Ending a Season is Sad. And I used the title as the line of the first, the lyrics, the line of the lyrics, because sometimes I forget the first line if I introduce the song and then, wait a minute, what's the first line? So there, I found a fix for that. Anyway, so ending a season is sad. And I wrote it when I decided I needed to set some boundaries. There was a particular individual in my life who I love very dearly who was being malicious with me, spewing and vomiting on me too many times. And they were old enough to not be doing that much, and I decided that I didn't deserve to be treated that way, and I didn't have the time to process their spew. That was their job. And so I ended that relationship, and I felt sad because it's somebody I love dearly. But I had to distance myself. I chose to, and it was sad. And yet another season unfolded, and I didn't have to deal with that, and that was quite wonderful. So there are all kinds of seasons, right? I'm sure you can relate to that in some way. So I'd like to sing the song for you, and then I'm going to talk about it a little bit and how it relates to our identity and who we become and who we are. Ending a season is sad, though another unfolds. Life is a fragile time. Untethered emotions grow cold. Makes enemies of friends, demons of brothers, and yet emotions are not our foe. When yoked with wisdom, love grows. Ending a season is sad, though another unfolds. Life is a fragile time. Untethered emotions ice cold. Makes enemies of friends, demons of brothers, and yet emotions are not our foe. When yoked with wisdom, love grows. Don't stay sad, another season is here. Release your judgments and you will see clearly. Life as delicate as it is has all you need to grow. And I've ended many seasons, not necessarily making the boundaries for relationship changes. I mean, I've done that too, but even in your life, like say in your teens, or in your 20s, or your 30s, or your 40s, or your 50s, or your 60s, or your 70s, or 80s, or 90s, or hundreds. Are we going to get there? What do you think? I don't know. And with each season, there is a sadness. I remember on my 20th birthday, I was really sad. I thought, oh my goodness, I'm not a teenager anymore. And I still feel like such a kid. And people would look at me like as if I might be some kind of an adult, or at least I thought they were expecting me to be some kind of adult. And I didn't feel like one. And it wasn't only sad, but it was scary. I've been enjoying so much information on the internet that inspires my days, that helps me move through them to be productive. And one of the people that I enjoy listening to and learning from is Brendan Burchard. I'm pretty sure he's the one who taught this to me. Action supports identity. And then I went forward and I put an acronym with it down here. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then the other thing he said was, choose who, meaning choose the identity of who you want to be, and do the what. What is required for you to embrace, embody that identity. I love words. They are just the most powerfully creative, motivating things that we have. They really are. I mean, music is too, though. Even music without words. So the acronym I have is intention. Action supports identity. It supports our intentions. Sometimes we say we intend a particular thing, but our action doesn't support it, so that's really not what we're intending. Our action supports our intentions. D, destination. Sometimes where we're headed isn't supported. Where we say we want to be headed isn't supported by our actions. And so our action supports the destination we want to get to ultimately, or that we're going to get to. Because sometimes we're going for a destination and we squiggle and, we mess up. And that's part of the learning process. And eventually we will, if we continue to strive to take the action that will support the who we are choosing. The destination we are choosing. If we continue to take the action that supports it, we'll eventually get there. The next letter is E. Action supports energy. An object in motion remains in motion. It creates that momentum that brings to you massive results. Natural rhythm. Action supports natural rhythm. We have habits. We have a natural rhythm of when we like to do something. We take handfuls of vitamins, and in the morning, the thing is, I've been taking them right first thing in the morning for a while, but it doesn't settle in my belly well, so I have to wait a while before I can put something as heavy as the pills in there. So my natural rhythm is I need to wait. Sometimes we can change our natural rhythm. I tried to take them earlier, and I just decided I would follow my natural rhythm. So my action does support my natural rhythm. Sometimes we can shift our natural rhythm in some arenas. I didn't used to be an early riser, but I do wake up at 5:30 every morning. My alarm is set for 6:30, and I awaken before that. I don't get up before that, and I don't always get up at 6 either. But I am awake, and I'm thinking, and doing my exercises for the transitions, for the endings of seasons that are happening in my body. The next letter is T, for transitions. The actions we take support the transitions that are required. I'd have to tell you a story about birth, about giving birth. Anymore, I think most women don't have natural childbirth for one reason or another, or who knows how many for the reasons they don't. But I gave birth to 5 children, and I didn't have I didn't have any epidurals. And what I learned in that process is that, for one thing, I've always liked to stretch. I learned how to do the splits in elementary school, and stretching has always been, I don't know, it's always felt good in my body. It's one of the things that I naturally gravitate toward. And so anyway, in giving birth, excuse me, there comes a time called transition. And it's when you transition from all the preparations for the baby to come through, when the baby's coming through, the baby is coming down, is coming out, or we're doing this stuff. And the contractions come very hard and very fast. And they hurt a lot more, and there's really not any rest in between. And when you're in pain, it's so natural to tighten up. And yet, in those contractions, if you tighten up, the pain is worse. And you're tightening up, closing off the opening for the baby to come through. You're tightening it up because it hurts so much. And it's contracting to open up, and you're fighting against it. And so it makes the labor last longer. And so I think that's an interesting, I don't know, maybe that will help somebody if there's anybody who wants to do natural childbirth. Not that that's what my channel's about, but in anything that we're transitioning from, if we fight against it, that resistance that I've talked about and that we all experience and we all practice too much, like giving into the resistance, fighting against it as opposed to moving through it. It's the same thing. Anyway, it does make sense, and I hope it makes sense for you. The next letter is ideas. Action supports ideas. When we are in action, when we are in thought, when we are in movement, when we are associating with people and others who are in action, ideas they swirl around and they happen and they're beautiful. And action is key. Action supports tenacity. If you want to be tenacious, which means stick-to-itiveness, continuing to do something that you've determined is the what required to be the who you want to be, tenacity is involved. There's got to be that consistency. You've got to continue and continue and continue, and that is supported by the actions you take. And the last one is youthful curiosity. To be curious is to be willing to learn. I think in some ways it's synonymous with being humble. So, action supports identity. When we are ending seasons, when we are learning that, well, I can't even control this because the season is changing, or I need to control this and change to another season, as we are willing to resource the good in the new season and not focus on the sad of the season we're leaving, the season we are entering will support a more growth identity for us, as opposed to a looking backwards and turning into a pillar of salt, as the Old Testament Lot's wife is said to have become. I'm Sarah D. I hope the song I shared with you and the words I shared were useful, and that the actions you take align and support the identity you desire to embody. I'm Sarah D. Make it a great day. Oh yes, please subscribe, please share, Please like, and thank you for those of you who have subscribed. You are just so appreciated. I know it's not a huge number, it's 111, but it's a good number. And I really do appreciate you.